Good morning. Good morning. I believe we are live today using StreamYard. Is there a streaming tool? Let's get a reality check here. See who's all with us today. Aha. A is right at it, long at 46.56.50. 46.56.50. Nice trade. Wow. Thumbs up on that one. Terrence, 5x5 in Seattle. Sweet. Griffin, morning. Long 56, trailed stop to 67.50. Nice trade again. Super sweet. And Bartlett, good morning. Thanks for being here. We're going to start. Is it on time yet? It is 10 o'clock. I logged in late today. What is wrong with me? All right, I'm ready to go, though. Ready to go. A lot of stuff to talk about. For those of you who do not know, hello, my name is Jim Cagnina. I'm the Senior Education and Training Specialist for the NinjaTrader platform. Today's trade setups in the Emini S&P 500 market is the event. I just want to remind everybody, trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility, although that can be an equation for opportunity, also an equation for risk. So please, risk capital only. Everyone's unique and different in this world. My definition is money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, lengthen my retirement horizon, or overly stress me out. So just be careful with the day trade margins there. We are logged in to a simulated live account using the NinjaTrader trading platform with a real-time data feed. And we're doing that using this today instead of the AT Pro platform for a whole bunch of reasons. And I think that shift's going to continue as we go forward. All right. Good morning, everybody. Paulie, good morning. Dem, good morning. Griffin's out at 57.20. What? 57.25 or 67.25? I think you meant 67.25. Yesterday's short at 46.20 with a stop at 46.22 worked. That's just from A. Awesome. I mean, it's crazy, right? The ES is up 15, another 15, 15 handles. NASDAQ up 111. Russell 16. Russell's finally catching up. The Dow is just kind of like sitting there around 17, 16, something like that. Daily chart, it's just, it is a bull market, people. Bull market. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to take a look at this chart and say, and not understand the bias of the market is bullish right now. It's not bearish. It's bullish. I have a fib line, which is ridiculous there because you got to keep adjusting it upward as this market keeps moving on. So that 23.6% level is invalid. Previous high is this blue line right here. I could kind of, oops, no, I didn't want to do that. Well, kind of pull this over here. This is, again, this is my new, instead of that was the area of resistance, now it's my new area of support. Really far away. Not worried about it anytime soon. The 50 period moving average is way, way, way down here, over 100 handles below. Moving average cross on the daily is separating, is still accelerating. The fast is accelerating over the slow. And then the CCI is over 100 now, 124.63 and moving. So anyway, I mean, the NASDAQ, let's just take a peek at the NASDAQ while I have it up here. And I prefer to do it this way. I think I may or may not have drawings on this one, but it's it's the same thing. It's the exact same picture, only different stock index future. Boy, look at that acceleration on the upside. Looking for places to buy again. And we learned our lesson from Monday, not looking for a counter trend trade today. Here is my, here's my chart that I just there we go. Let's kind of make that a little bit bigger too, just so we could kind of take a peek at the whole thing. 10-minute chart. Everything is hunky-dory. I don't know why I use that word. One thing, I wonder if I have on here, let's go to my indicators here, and it should pop up. I don't. I want to put prior day, open, high, low, close on here right now. I don't care about the open yesterday, but I do care about the other three. Let's hit apply and OK. and get that on there. Okay, so we are just kicking. You know what? This thing is a rocket ship going up. A second distribution starting to develop here, though. This could be exciting. This could give us an area of interest right now to maybe try to get in to a long position again. So let's kind of be patient here. Wait a couple seconds. And see what happens here with the market. My notes today. I mean, we have some more economic news, right? We have the Challenger grade job cut report, the actual 22,000 versus 17. We have international trade in goods, which is import export kind of balance there. We're minus 80.6 billion, so that's a little worse than last time, right? Only 73.3 billion. Jobless claims are trending in the right direction. 269. So we're slowly, incrementally going down. Productivity and costs. I don't know much about this particular indicator, but it did not move the needle. I mean, consensus was minus 1.5, and we were minus 5, but it didn't move the needle. I mean, this is just buy market. OPEC Plus today. Maybe they've already said they've already had their meeting, maybe not, but OPEC Plus is, they're going to poke everybody in the eye basically and say, we're not changing our policy because Jim Cagney in North Carolina has to pay $3.30 for a gallon of gas. So I'm being kind of facetious there, but it's true. Echo Boo Boo, good morning. Louis from France. On the Infinity platform, so they did not find the CCI or how to install the order book. Louis, the CCI is on there. It might be called Commodity Channel Index. I can't remember. I don't have this platform launched today, even though I was supposed to. I apologize for that, but we pivoted today to the NinjaTrader platform, and I had some computer reasons for that. It has nothing to do with anybody but myself. Anyway, Fed has spoken. The average, they've changed their language though, right? So the Fed changed their language a little bit. It's like, hey, 2% is our target inflation before we start raising rates. And now they're kind of saying, well, that 2% could be averaged over time, and we expect it to be over 2% for a while. But as long as it averages over time, we're not gonna increase our Fed funds target rate. And they didn't. It was unchanged, right? Target is spelled wrong on my cheat sheet. Fix that, but who cares? Other than probably my mother, she would not be happy with that. Unchanged. So their tune is starting to change a little bit. We're gonna have about a $15 billion taper in November, $30 billion in December, and that's going to continue on for the next 10 months or so till we get to zero. Although they did reserve the right to change their mind and slow things up or speed things up, with their typical kind of language that gives them that wiggle room to be dynamic in their approach. However, they did say, hey, we're tapering now. We're starting in November, mid-November. Repo is still 25%. 0.25%, I'm sorry. Reverse repos 0.05, and then prime credit rate 0.25. None of that's changed, right? None of that's changed. If you want to read the actual 4-page announcement, it's actually a good read. It'll really, it's not bad. I'm just going to cut and paste that in there. As I'm going to wait for another bar before we go to the chart. So just hang tight, everybody. Hang tight. And the question is is Chairman Powell being dovish because he wants the job. He wants to stay in the job of FOMC chairman. Very prestigious. I don't know. Maybe not. But that's the story to tell. We still have a lot of tapering to do here on that chart. Anyway, none of the economic information here releases it mattered. Really, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm going to put my arrow here on this particular candle here. This is the first candle here, the 930 to 940 candle was indecisive, right? So we had, the body was relatively small, big wick on the top, big wick on the bottom. The next candle we had lift off, right? 940 to 950. and then we had a continuation candle and another continuation candle. So we're still continuing. We're continuing up, and away. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple seconds. From a volume profile point of view, we are accumulating volume up here. A competing point of control is starting to emerge, which is a good thing for a trade idea. And we'll see how that develops going forward. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about was this is kind of toward the end. I think that earnings is slowing down, right? I think earnings. I think we're exhausting the companies that could announce earnings. Here's the list for today. I just wanted to throw that out there. Some of these have already been released. I haven't been. I don't know which one or not. But I was considering the Peloton. Does anybody have a Peloton here? Is it worth the money? It seems awfully darn pricey. Awfully darn pricey to keep one's heart healthy. I don't know. Maybe it's not. If you say it that way, maybe it's not. Maybe all right. I want to spend some money to keep my heart healthy. Maybe my ankles and hips. If anyone has one, type it in and say it's good or bad or what the heck you thinking, Jim. Take the dog on a longer walk. That might be a better use of your time. I don't know. Sorry, I'm sidetracked. Ankle boo boo licking my wounds from Tuesday. Licking my wounds from Tuesday. All right, we have another candle here. It is the 10-10 candle right here. And this was a doji, right? This is a doji looking kind of candle here. The one that just closed. We have the open and close price is exactly in line. It's the same price, right? And the wick on the top and the wick on the bottom are almost the same size. This is almost a perfect doji, not quite. The wick on the top's a little bigger, but it's really pretty, really nice to look at. But what does it mean? It means the market maybe is happy. Could mean could mean happiness, price happiness. Right, it has just occurred at 46.68, or it could mean the market is just indecisive. It doesn't know what to do at that point. This fight between buyers and sellers trying to move things around. But now we have another green candle. We'll see what happens if we get a lower high. If we get a lower high, that's a good thing for a trade idea. Griffin said I can hang clothes on a cheap treadmill just as well. Yeah, these things do accumulate secondary uses, such as hanging clothes or storing junk. I hear you. I don't know. But anyway, so Peloton's going to release. Maybe what I'll do is if Peloton's earnings are good, then I'm going to fade them and say, no, I'm not getting the Peloton. If Peloton's earnings are poor, then maybe I should jump in at that point, right? Buy the low. I don't know what I'm talking about. Army has a saying, PT is free. Oh my God. Mrs. Kaggs was in the Army, by the way, 4 years down here in Georgia. And she has some great stories to tell. A long time ago, though. I did her 4 years and got out, moved on. But my hat's off to you if you served. I have some respect there for sure. Carla says the Dowd YMCA spin classes are better. Okay, that's a great tip. I appreciate that, Carlos. I'll have to look that one up. Jim Valentine, do you know the trader Jimmy Jude? No, but that's a great name. So this is Jim Valentine talking to Jim Cagnina, and there's this dude named Jimmy Jude. That's a great name. I do not. I have no experience whatsoever with that particular fella. Griffin says, I find if I don't join a gym, I don't work out. And we haven't been to the gym since COVID, so we know what kind of shape I'm in. Oh my goodness. A is long at 56.50. Reach profit target. Yeah, look at this market. It's amazing. It is amazing. We're still moving on up. A lot of more continuation. There is absolutely no resistance here. Let's move over to the micro Nasdaq. Maybe we can get a little bit more a little different picture. We're not getting a different picture. Trade lift, trade lift, trade lift, trade lift. I mean, read the Powell statement, read the FOMC statement, and it really is. They're basically saying, hey, don't hold your breath on interest rates anytime soon. We could look at the Fed. Let's go look at the Fed Watch tool. Let me pull that up for everybody. Fed Watch tool that's published by the CME group. By the way, Google just invested like $1 billion in the CME. I don't know what that means for any of us, other than probably good stuff. Okay, next meeting, 0% chance. Let's go to January. 2.5% chance. This was 4.9 a week ago. So 2.9% chance of a rate increase in Jan on the January 26, 2022 meeting. Not very strong probability. Let's go to the March. March, things are starting to pick up. March, it's hey, 13.5% chance that we're going to target 25 to 50 basis points. March is just around the corner, guys, like it or not. Look at that green candle on the right-hand side peeking out behind my web browser window. Man, oh man, it's it's awesome. And then as 0.3%, 50 to 75. Let's jump the shark and go to next summer, July 22nd. Now we have some probability distributions of target rate changes based on the Fed funds futures market. Right, there's a Fed funds futures market that trades out months, many out months out go forward, and they have this probability calculation, based on that. And so now we're talking, possible, a movement. There's only a 32% chance that rates will still be 0 to 25 basis points by then. So I don't know. Interesting. We'll keep a track on this. I'm going to cut and paste this into the message board here. See how it goes. Griffin says, I'm fascinated to see how much inflation we are going to get before the rate increase. I hear you, man. I mean, I told you guys yesterday, there's a 7% chance that there's going to be a 7% increase in the cost of Oreo cookies. That is tragic in among itself. I'm kind of joking, everybody, but yeah, I know it's a thing. It's a thing. We're going sideways. So, all right, let's talk about what to do here. I mean, I would not sell one thing whatsoever right now. I mean, look at that. I mean, that is trade lift like I've never seen before, and it's still climbing. I mean, if you wanted to go long right now, just on a breakout trade and do it, that might not be a bad idea. I mean, given how strong this is. I mean, let's see. Let's take a look at NQ is up 150. RTY 23.1, Dow 7, and ES only 21. So 21 is big, but not huge, right? We've seen bigger moves up. So again, I think it's time to be patient and keep our powder dry for a little bit. Let's see what the 1020 candle brings us. Let's take a look at the rest of the board here while we're waiting. We've got the US dollar is weaker across the board with the exception of the yen and the peso. In the New Zealand, whatever it is, dollar. No, what's 6Z? Anybody? Give me help here. 6Z currency. I don't think that is. Excuse me. I do not think that is the. That's not Venezuela. What are you talking about? I think the N is the New Zealand dollar. So 6N, I think. Yeah, so the US dollar is weaker across the board there. For sure. I'm sorry, I said it backward. This is a currency cross. It's Canadian dollar versus the US, right? So when this is negative, the US dollar is stronger, right? The US dollar is stronger. Said that backward. Apologize for that. Rewind, cut and clip that paste out of the YouTube. Crude oil 82. We saw a 79 print not too long ago, and then we just last night, and then we rallied like crazy back again. I guess this OPEC plus meeting, they're gonna, I don't know, maybe it's over with. 6N is the Kiwi, right? exactly. Thank you, Jim. Gold, still right below that magic 1800 number. Silver back up to 24. We had a dip, I don't know, down to 21, and it just kind of whipsawed right back up. Treasury bonds, 160.27. 160.27. And let's do a little bit of Treasury bond action here. Let's just click on that and see if I could do that. I linked my chart to my quote board, Market Analyzer. It's really easy to do. And there's a picture. Bonds are railing. This whole idea of this thing being inversely related doesn't always work. And then there's also an argument to be made that the equity market isn't always. It's not as interest rate sensitive as some folks think. I don't know. Well, time will tell. But the idea that the Fed could incrementally raise rates and then asset prices will continue to go up is a thing that's happened in the past. So I'm not an automatic believer in as soon as these rate hikes kick in, if they kick in, whenever they kick in, the market's going to fall apart. The equity market is going to fall apart. I got to talk in specifics here. But if you are bearish in the 30-year, which I am, then you got something to think about here, because now you have some areas of interest where we can consider an actual short trade right now. And I'm going to draw a rectangle up here. I know we're a little bit off the beaten track here, but with a bond trade. But let's just kind of think about this for a little bit. Scratch our head. CCI is sloping downward, but still very positive at 167. That's not helping my counter trend trade. It's not really a counter trend trade, but yeah, I guess it is. Moving average cross is still diverging. That doesn't help our trend trade idea. I'm just going to keep that picture up there, and we'll think about it. We'll think about it as we get toward the 1030 mark. See if there's kind of room for action here on the Treasury bond market right now. And yesterday point of control, we're right at it. We're right at yesterday's point of control here. Let me just get my crosshairs back. Go across 160.28. So I don't know. Things are lining up, and we're going to think about this. We might come back and do it. Who knows? Let's kind of keep toggling around. Triple distribution. Let's see if we can come back to this. The competing point of control. Volume is low, 363,000 in the Emini S&P. Mini Nasdaq 366,000. Like to see a higher number in the ES, and we're just not getting there. We are not getting there. Remember, hold your shift key down, your control key down if you want to do this, if you want to move your chart around. That's how you do it. I get that question all the time. Hold that control key down on your keyboard, and then just grab it with your mouse. It's easy peasy. So, this is a very interesting area to me, this competing point of control here at 68.75. Then we have a lot of market weakness all the way down to the top of the value area. This value area is going to shift pretty soon, is my guess. So, one trade idea is obvious. Let's see if this point of control is a real one. We got 13,204. I'm just going to throw an order in there at 69, and we'll just kind of be patient here and see what happens here. But again, this is the first area of interest I've seen so far that short of just going long is actionable as far as I could tell. But we'll see. We'll see if we can get some area of resistance defined here or not. Jim says, Jen Psaki says crude is high because people are using it. So, it's a supply and demand market, right? It's a commodity. It's a supply and demand market. But keep in mind, now we have competitive forces afoot. Natural gas. We have windmills all over Indiana. We have this idea that in North Carolina now, the states is looking to get up to $1 billion boost from the federal government to develop offshore wind energy. I read that this morning. And that's a relatively big infrastructure investment, and I don't know what it costs to build windmills windmills in the ocean, but it's a movement. So there's more. There's competition right there. Solar, now that I'm in the southern part of the country, has that advantage of solar also. The efficiencies are going to get better and better, along with the electric battery storage. So there's competition now, and the frackers, of course, are a little bit out of whack right now. So that competition is not as keen as it was, but I don't know, 10 years ago. But that it's something to think about, right? The whole transition to from crude related products is going to take a long time, decades probably. But the competition's starting. So I hear you, man. Supply and demand market. Supply is kind of king right now. And then, but demand does matter. I think demand matters less though. So I'm looking for areas of interest on the market profile, Jim. Great question. So I'm looking for where buyers and sellers have done a lot of transactions, right? And the point of control is the biggest one on here right now. It's at 57, right? We've done the most transactions today from a volume point of view. Right there. Now you have competitors, right? If you move my cursor up a little bit, 58, 59. This isn't exactly a perfect bell-shaped curve. As a matter of fact, it's very imperfect. It's almost a triple distribution right now. And then the second area here, volume accumulation, is at 13,204. So that gives me an area of interest here. And a lot of times these points of control or competing points of control act as targets. Not always, just based on my opinion and my observations, that does do that from time to time. And so I think it's a reasonable place to put to enter the market right now when we don't have that much to go to, other than CCI now is at 211. Moving average cross is diverging. We have a second area of accumulation here, but it's only 9,000 up around where we're trading right now, 71 3/4. The other area of interest is the transition between the value area and prices above value, and then the value area and prices below value. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of interest in my head, in my tiny little brain, which which is making me think of where I want to try to enter. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna stick with that, and then we're gonna decide on stop losses and stuff like that in a second after we get filled. Lewis is doing nothing this morning. I wait for an afternoon to see if there's a trade to take. Okay, very prudent. Very prudent. Danny says, I think jumping in now is like jumping in front of a moving truck. Well, it is moving for sure. We'll see though. Things tend to settle down, and remember, these markets they're volatile, and there's this ongoing struggle between buyers and sellers, and that results in market volatility and price oscillation, you could call it, or price movement, you could call it. It's rarely, with the exception of 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, it's rarely unidirectional, right? We're going to have some sort of, and that's why Fibonacci is. We should probably apply a Fibonacci right now. Fibonacci is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm just going to go from the low, from when we opened, the opening low, and I'm going to drag it up to the high of the previous bar, previous candle, and I'm going to look, and lo and behold, 23.6. I'm going to put my crosshairs right there. That's the first retracement level, which is which it would be a more aggressive place to enter, in my opinion. But it's only a couple ticks from where I'm at right now, so it's not that big a deal. 38.2% is the next area of interest. 50% is just north of the top of the value area. And then 61.8% is down here, and that's where probably a stop loss would be reasonable at the 61.8% level. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and throw that trade idea in there, see what happens. That's what we got cooking so far. You know, the problem with the Fibonacci today is you got to keep adjusting it as this market goes up. But maybe we found an area of resistance and things are going to slow down. Let's draw a rectangle. Rectangles are free on NinjaTrader. I want to remind everybody that. And I'm going to touch the top of the highest part of the body, and I'm going to go ahead and just draw my rectangle so that it's over that top of that wick. And that's we'll see if that holds. We'll see if we get a candle that closes in the rectangle, then I'm going to have to adjust it upward. But right now, this is the picture we're looking at. Danny likes fibs. Carlos says the instrument's designed to rarely consider shorting. Well, I mean, if you're talking about the stock index futures, I mean, equity markets, the equity, yeah, I mean, a company goes public and, they receive capital by going public. Their mission is growth, right? And to continue to grow and to continue to get bigger and to continue to generate more revenue and earnings and all these things. That's by the nature of the beast, for surely true. Now we have, we could be in a bear market where we have a prolonged period of downward prices, and we've seen that time and time again in the business cycle, which is well documented in the United States. We're popping back into that rectangle again. We didn't get filled. It's okay. We're going to be patient and see what happens here. 10:30. Let's go back to that bond trade. I forgot all about that bond trade idea. Let's just click over here, see what's happening. Ooh, good thing we didn't do it. Look at that. We are in my rectangle. So now here's where I got to have to move it up. Right? Oops. My bad mouse skills. Yeah, I mean it's still rallying. We only have one candle that actually has risen into my. If you think of this as a cloud, one candle has risen into that. I've kind of abutted the bottom of my rectangle with the top of the contemporary candle body. Right, things are starting to go again. Not ready to go short in this market. No. Let's just shoot over to the MES. And I could do that by just clicking on my quote board. Look how fast and cool that is. And this again, there is less of an obvious thing to do here in the NASI. So we'll shoot back over to yes. This is our best hope and dream. And as we keep rallying up, wow, I'm just shocked. I am shocked. Reopen the pipeline. We're back to crude oil. And much of the problems will be removed. Perhaps that is true. Supply, I think, has primacy right now in the crude oil market, although they're way better crude oil analysts. There's trade. I'm not, I don't know much about crude oil, to be honest with you. But we could kind of look at a chart. Yeah, I mean, I just got to keep, this is just it. This is tough. We'll see where this candle closes. I kind of moved it prematurely, actually. My rectangle should be technically here until this candle closes into this rectangle. And the candle might not close into this rectangle. We have 8 more minutes left. Again, 10:30, we have trade lift, half an hour increments, things tend to move. And that's what we're seeing right here. So we're going to hang tight. I'm still feeling pretty good about our idea. Although we're getting more volume up in this area right here, which is interesting. Ankle Boo is going to start. He wants to short, but he's holding powder for now. I hear you, Ankle Boo. Cool. Now, so Ankle Boo, we never met. I don't know if you're he or she. I apologize for that when I say stuff like that. I mean, I'm just, I don't know. The world's getting crazy. We're getting too. I don't know. We're getting too woke. Friend of mine's non-binary. which means we're splitting up camps into binary and non-binary. And by doing that, the non-binary, well, is really binary. If you can get your head around that idea. Uncle Booba lives in Georgia, right around the corner from me. Very, very cool. This is just amazing to me. Although we didn't make a new high on this candle yet. That's something to write home about for sure. Uncle Booba's nickname for 39 years. Got it. Mine's Cags. Everyone knows this. CAGS. It's kind of lifelong thing. 5 years old. And I'm a lot older than that now. I'm substantively older than that now. Multiply by like 10 and a half. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's see what happens with this candle. We hold or not hold. We've got a lot of time today. We're doing a Futures Trading 101 event published on the Ninja Trader website at 12 o'clock Eastern time or 11 o'clock Central time. So if you're brand new to futures, come to that. It'll be fun. I'm going to walk through why this is and this, how the mechanics of this whole thing works. How the mechanics of this whole thing works. What do we got here? Oh, that's that. Sorry, my bad. 10:35. We got 5 more minutes for the next candle. I know what the trend, the counter trend people are thinking. Aha, maybe the top is in. Maybe the top is in. I don't know. We'll see what happens to this candle. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not, again, I'm not a big fan here going short today. ES up 20, NQ up 183, RTY up 19. The only problem child is the YM, which is the mini Dow. Let's take a peek at that guy. It's kind of, let me just kind of format this a little bit better so we can, oops, that was too much formatting. Easy on the formatting, Jim. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Maybe there's a trade idea here in the YM. This is looking kind of negative right now, actually. This wick down here. All right, so one observation that I have right now, for what it's worth. A lot of times when you have these big shadows, like this candle here was probably the opening range. Let me tell you exactly what time that candle was. Yeah, so 9:30 on the open, 9:30 to 9:40. Remember, Ninja tracks the end of the candle. So 9:30 to 9:40 candle, that's the open cash market. And a lot of times these wicks are challenged later on in the day. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do that. Now, once they're challenged, things kind of revert back to the point of control, and that's that. So, and look at how nice this distribution is. It's very, very bell-shaped. It's very normal looking distribution. So, I mean, this is kind of a, in the hard part about putting a trade down here is there's not, we could use, yesterday's information, right? Yesterday's high is right there as an example, based on the settlement. And you could, maybe use that as an area of interest. But I would probably even be lower than that because we do have a series of higher highs after this wick. But again, a lot of times this thing gets attacked. So from a trade idea point of view, we're minus 154 right now. We're bullish in the market. So this is a really, really, really patient kind of trade idea. And we're literally about 90 points or so south of where we're at right now. If you wanted to be more aggressive and push it back up. But, this is this is an observation. I've seen this happen so many times that these wicks get attacked for no reason, and then everything kind of reverts back to normal. So, and this is a lighter market, so you got to be careful with it, right? It's thinner, and I could probably pull it up on the trading ladder, and you see, the bids and offers are in single digits, right? So keep that in mind, especially if you're trading larger lot sizes. Lewis says, we're in Europe in the morning. We are stalking the markets. And when the U.S. markets open, you light the fire and our indices go crazy. I have to wear a war helmet behind my computers. Yeah, I mean, I have the DAX up here. I don't have the Eurostock 50 on my radar screen, but that's another one you could add here on the NinjaTrader software. Really good market to trade. So, and the difference is, so the DAX is a stock index feature, kind of like the Dow Jones, right? The YM, it's German stocks, right? Large cap German stocks or blue chips or whatever you want to call them. The Euro Stock 50 is, they call it a pan-continental, pan-continental. They're European. They're basically European stock index. And then there's the Euro Stock 600. There's all sorts of different really neat futures contracts that are traded through the Eurex exchange. Jim asked Lewis, what part are you in? Oh, Carlos, this is way out of my expertise range. I appreciate the question, but I'll read it out loud. Jim, on a different topic, do you know the reason why so few IPOs offer optionality before their lockup date? I don't. This is not a thing I'm versed in. I apologize. I just I have I have a limited grasp of things. there's only there's only so far my brain goes before it doesn't work anymore. Anyway, so I mean, this is kind of a Hail Mary trade, to be honest with you. But we'll just keep it up there. It doesn't. Limit orders are free, so I'm gonna toggle back over to ES, see how we're looking. We're in my rectangle now again. Boy. So we're going to have to be more aggressive on our trade entry. I got to move it up here to literally tag the bottom of the highest candle, the body of the highest close is where I'm moving this rectangle up into right now. Maybe we're starting to see some, and excuse the pun, taper on the upside. Maybe we're not. I don't know, but we'll see what happens here. I'm still sticking with our trade idea. Now, someone might say, all right, so look at this. Now, there's another competing point of control. There's another one right up here, right? So, these two are getting, but it's small volume. It's really small volume. Wow. Speaking of small volume, the YM only has 61,000 in it. So keep that in mind. So you're going to see more wild swings like you do in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ 400, micro NASDAQ, 411,000. That's sweet. Crude oil's back is right at that 82 level. Bonds, let's just kind of toggle over to those guys. Again, good thing we did not do an impulse short there. Very, very, very bullish still. The one thing about the bonds, though, you got to be careful is they trend quickly and then they stop. Like this, you see this sideways kind of action. I know this was early morning, so this is kind of a bad analogy, but you do see a lot of sideways action in bonds most of the time, and then you get boom, zips up, boom, zips down. Today's a little different, a little unique. We're tweaking our way up slowly, slowly, slowly. I don't know if tweaking is the right word, but I'm going to use it. Griffin, no IPOs were optionable till Goog. Most want established volume before makers will touch them. That's a factoid. I did not know. Thank you for that. That's a great assist from Lewis and Griffin. Appreciate that. So, Jim, I'm warm. I'm not going to attack you for it. I'm warming up to this whole Bitcoin idea. I really am. I mean, I've been tracking this Bitcoin daily chart. I have an expansion on here, but it's from a technical analysis point of view, it's starting to get some volume and some legs to it. This is the big Bitcoin contract. The micro is just so new, you can't really have a lot of historical data on it. And the bid-ask spread is kind of tight, so you got to be really patient, right, with your limit orders and where you place your stops. But it's starting to be trackable. I started talking about it on the Bazinga event that we do Monday mornings with our friends at Bazinga, and we're going to keep tracking it going forward. Um, I'm starting to become interested in it. As soon as ProShares went, attached their wagon to the CME Group Bitcoin futures, everything changed for me, because now we have kind of a mainstream ETF product through established company offering these products tied to the futures. That's gonna shine the spotlight on the futures, and I think is great. And then from a tradable point of view, the micros. Do I even have a micro up here? Let's just see. I'm just going to change this to MBT. And there you have it. I mean, you do have, it's from a technical analysis point of view, you could see things. You could apply the analysis that we're applying every day. My thing, Jim, is I don't know how to look at the fundamental analysis for this. I mean, is it a flight to quality instrument? Is it a security? Is it an asset? What about all the competing cyber coins? I guess, is that the right word? Cyber coins. What happens with that, with competition for flow of funds? Those kind of things I haven't got my head around yet. With a market like the S&P 500, there's one of them, right? And you could argue, well, you have competition because people might want to invest in the QQQs or the NASDAQ or RTYs or other stock index futures. But look at, I mean, the two are ES and NQ, and they march to different drummers. They're not completely the same thing. So I'm starting to warm up, though. We're going to probably spend some more time looking at these micros, and I'm thinking about a micro Bitcoin webinar and those kind of things. So I don't know. I'm starting to feel good about them, really better about them than I did initially. You just got to be careful. The bid-ask spread is really, really tight, and so there's just not. Let's just pick it up. MTB. Oops. No, I'm sorry. MBT. My bad. And so the bid-ask spread is wide, right? It's wide. And so I'll freeze it right here. You got one at 255, and you got three at 290. Right. So when you're trading these, getting in could be okay, because you could do a limit order, right? We could just say, hey, I want my price or better. So I'm going to click, this is what I'm going to do. Alternatively, though, when you get out with a limit order, then okay, that's good. My price or better. But your stop loss is where your trouble is, right? Your stop loss, right? If you want to do a sell stop down here somewhere, let's just do one. Now you're going to be a victim of this bid-ask spread. So be careful with that. I'm just saying. In any event, we'll start thinking about it. We're going to start thinking about it. Let's go over to YM real fast, see if there's any new. Oops, I'm sorry. I wanted to do it over here. Any new developments? Yeah, there's some developments. Look at that. The patience might be paying off, hopefully for the better. It might be paying off for our patience might be paying off for the worse. Is that a thing? Could patience pay off for the worse? Griffin says volatility works both ways. I'm not fooling with anything that moves several $1,000s a day. Yet, so no Bitcoin for me. So yeah, that's a great comment, and that's true. But with the micros being so small, you might have some swing trade or some even position trade, investment level trades that you could do with them. But I agree, they do swing like crazy, and but I'm optimistic that the volume's going to get there. I'm optimistic that the volume's going to get there. That's all I'm saying. So, any event, making new highs in the ES. That's amazing. ES up 21, NQ 185, and this is after. Oh my God. see, Herbert agrees with that. Griffin says, and it's made up. No one has told me yet how it can't just vanish one day. It does have this kind of this tulip quality, right? I mean, wasn't there like a big run in tulips back in Holland hundreds of years ago? And that's the first classic bubble that burst. But at least tulips were something. They're a commodity. So I think us older folks, sorry, Griffin, but I think us older folks have a hard time getting around an asset with nothing behind it, right? Other than investors, right? So, and the other thing that I'm worried about with the whole crypto thing is, will it become an official currency? And in my opinion, the sovereign entities want to control their own currency for power purposes, right? And this idea of there's always been this idea of a global currency, and we got rid of that when we got rid of the gold standard, right? That was out the window. So everybody wants to control their own currencies. In my mind, it's more likely that sometime in the future, the United States government would say, all right, we're going to come up with US crypto coins that are official, right? And then, you know, the European Central Bank will come up with the Euro crypto, which is theirs. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Long way off though before that happens, and it may never ever happen. Anyway, Patrick says this is high-end investment advice. It's true. If you if you have to hold your nose to buy, run away. Let's keep toggling. Let's keep toggling. 950. We'll stick around for another bar here just to see what happens. I mean, this is just unfortunate. Now look at my order here. This was, wait a second here. I shouldn't have toggled like that because I have it over here, right? I got to come up with some better chart management techniques for sure. But look what happened with our, I know I'm kind of overboard with this whole volume profile thing, but now everything's shifted, right? So now our order is it's at the top of the value area, which is interesting. And I probably have to adjust just a little bit my tools here. So here's my new area of resistance. And, we talked about, we use the word taper on our trade lift. Maybe we'll get some taper. If you want to be more aggressive, move this thing up to the 23.6. I still like this trade idea. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it for a while. Jim, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it. Come anytime. If I don't talk to you at the Future Trading 101 event, which doesn't sound like is for you probably, but have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Tell your friends, hit the like button if there's a like button even on this thing. I don't even know. But thanks again for being here. All right. While we're waiting here and for the last 10 minutes, I do want to take this opportunity to remind everybody. Uh-oh, something got filled. I think our mini Dow got filled. Sweet. Now, I'm just going to go to this chart here. Oh, you know what I was doing? Here's what I was doing because I was using this to change things. There we go. All right. So we are long one contract. I do want to remind everybody, trading futures, options, and futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in future trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility, although that can be an equation for opportunity, also equation for risk. So be careful. Easy on the day trade margins. All right, so we are in it right now. We're long one. We kind of had this attacked. We're not out of the woods yet because we have a series of lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, all the way down, lower lows, all the way down. This has got to kind of, it has to kind of air itself out a little bit. So let's be patient here, see what happens. And rarely in futures trading are you able to buy the exact low or sell the exact high, which means when you establish a position, you're always going to have some level of kind of negative unrealized P&L for at least a little while. That's kind of that's a fact, I think. I mean, I don't know if it's, I mean, yeah, it is. It is. I'm going with it. So let's kind of see here where we may want to consider. a stop loss. And this is the tricky part because there's a lot of white space once we start making new lows here at 952. We're 10 ticks away from making new lows here. So we've got to be mindful of that. And I don't want to go just 1 or 2 ticks below there because a lot of times we see that whiplash effect. Not interested. So we still have a lot of time left in this candle right now. And I'm looking over here, we had yesterday's close here at 921. That's a reasonable target, at least something to go by. And so we'll go ahead and do our sell stop there for now. And that's giving us a good 40 ticks or so of downside. It's a $5 contract, right? Each tick is worth $5. But we do have 100-point swings, right? We're down 77 in the YM. The point of control is way up here, which is nice. So it gives us a lot of opportunity to consider where, in fact, we would like to place a profit target. We want to place it at the bottom of the value area. Not a bad trade. So we're going to place it at the point of control. Super great trade. Or do you want to split the difference between the two? And kind of looking at the volume here and the volume profile. This is relatively nice type of normal distribution so far today. And just to get something in the books, we're going to go ahead and get something. I'm going to split the difference between the value area and the bottom of the value area, the point of control, right in there. So that would be 16. See, my math skills are like boom, phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, if we know anything, Robert says you're right. Government will whack Bitcoin. I mean, if we know anything, governments exist to get bigger. the governments exist to get more and more power. They never shrink, right? You don't have like the Department of Transportation getting smaller. It gets bigger and more responsibilities. And once a new agency is created, oh my goodness, you'll never get rid of it. Nothing's temporary. And I used to be a federal employee, believe it or not. It is true. Jim Cagnino was spent 6 years early in his career working for the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, mostly wastewater treatment, sewers, stormwater. And I've seen behind the curtain. I know I know what it's about. There's a lot of good people that work there, so I don't want to bash. I mean, for sure, there are a lot of good people and a lot of good intentions, but sidetracking everybody. What time is it? 4 more minutes here, and I'll give you some last second thoughts after the next candle on what I would do going forward. ES is now only up 17. Let's just kind of see how close we are. Aha! Look at that. Look at that. We're getting close, man. We're getting close. A few ticks away there. Just kind of see what happens. We'll be a little patient. 1 tick away. Even bid at a quarter bid at 50, quarter bid at 50, even bid at a quarter, even bid at a quarter. The simulator tries to simulate real life, right? So when I'm in line at a limit order at 69 even, I got to wait for the orders in front of me to get filled before I get my fill. It's FIFO, right? First in, first out. And the NinjaTrader simulator does a good job at mimicking that. It's not perfect, but it gives you a relatively good experience. So we could trade at 69 and then I won't get filled and the market goes against me the other way. Frustrating as heck, but I'm not going to change it. Quarter bid at 50, that's $12.50 every time I change it up, move it up. Terrence says, if I do not have YM on my instruments, just reach out to your broker, send them an email. Hey, turn me on for YM. That's all you need to do. Or to support, whatever brokerage firm you're using, just shoot it out to support. Didn't quite get there. We traded at 69 even. I didn't get my fill though. I'm so upset. Griffin says, I worked for the ASCS right out of high school. Most gravy job I've ever had. No idea why I left. Money, I guess. No, it's funny you say that because a lot of my contemporaries, when I started, I started in 1980, I don't know, 7, and they did a reduction in force. It was called RIF, reduction in force, at like year, I don't know, 20, and everyone got 80% lifetime, retirement uh, paychecks. Imagine that. Being 40 years old, getting 80% of your, and they did it. They averaged that your top 3 pay years. They average it, and then it's like what? And then you're free to do something else. Crazy. Anyway, bears are getting crushed. I'm assuming you're talking about the Bears are getting crushed on every pullback. Not the Chicago Bears because they're getting crushed, period. But I hear you. Carlos says 14 out of the 17 daily candles have closed between 85 to 90%, 99% or higher within their trading range. Yeah, I mean, it's looking for places to buy right now, for sure. It's we're gonna get there. Even bid at 25, we're gonna get there. And then 38.2% is your next stop. Wouldn't be surprised if we get there. All right, so we didn't move our limit order up because every time you do, it costs you $12.50. So now we're kind of in it right now. It's awkward because my time frame is an hour. My hour's up. It's 11 o'clock Eastern time, and now I'm going to manage this trade going forward, which is fine. But right now, my sell stop's pretty far away. Right, it's I don't know 6 handles away, 7 handles, 7 handles. We'll call it 7 handles away exactly. Right, that's a $350 per contract uh, area here. And what we have to ask ourselves is, well, where's our profit target, and then how are we going to manage our stop going 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 forward? And we're going to wait. I'm going to stick around a couple more minutes here. Why not? I have nothing else to do. Well, I do have something else to do, but that's all right. We're going to stick around, and I'm going to go ahead and just look at our YM trade idea here. We're right where we entered right here. Time to draw a rectangle. Let's do that. Again, I want to find the bar that's closed, and I want to go to the bottom of the body, and I'm going to draw my rectangle so that it's below the lowest wick. And we have a long way to go before this bar closes. This bar's not telling me anything yet. Unless we completely eclipse or go through, I was going to say transpire, that's not the right word, go through that rectangle in the middle of the candle. And then we could kind of peek at the ES trade kind of on the trading ladder here. We've got, minus $75. Our entry 69. Price is that yellow highlighted number in the price ladder. And that's where we're at. So let's give it a couple more minutes, and I'll give you some closing thoughts. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're top is in for the day. Who knows? I don't think so. I think let's take a look at some point of controls way up here. Very small volume down here. Let's just see how small. I mean, this is the thing with trading a small contract. We've only had 648 contracts traded here. That's pretty tiny. We have a few thousand up here at the point of control. A lot, yeah, 36. 36. No, number 2,700. Right. So we have significantly more volume up here than down here. We'll see if we accumulate volume down here. Looks like we're trying to, but not a lot. Pretty small. Let's shoot over. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's shoot over to the ES and do the same analysis here with respect to volume. And we're entering into this area here of weakness, right? So when I say weakness, we had 2,000, 2,800, 2,100, 1,800, 1,900. This depression here is, we didn't spend a lot of time there, right? Because we just blew right through it. on the 9:50 to 10 o'clock candle. So that's area of weakness. We're developing what's called a double distribution here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this relatively big small depression here, 5,700, we get up there at some point relatively soon. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But let's see what happens. We could obviously, there's a reason why we call it retracement, right? The market could retrace. It's retracing now, and we're getting close to the 50% area of retracement. Our sell stop's right below the 61.8, maybe too tight, but I'm not going to change it at this point because, again, we could settle all the way back down to this point of control, and I don't want to take that much heat. A is long again at 66.75. Awesome. You're positioned better than I am right now. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, Robert. To say that, but I don't know. We'll see how we do. I don't want to leave yet. This is too much fun. We are trading with the NinjaTrader software today, real-time simulated account, sim trades today with the real-time data feed. Things are starting to. So I'm going to leave you with this. One of the things that I would consider doing, if we don't have a continuation candle here, a significant continuation candle, at a certain point, I want to start trailing my stop up to 50% and 38%, if in fact we're on the right side of this trade idea, and then establish a profit target once that trail starts happening back up. I think that's what I'm thinking. I'll kind of continue to do that offline for the ES, and then for the YM, we still have the candle that hasn't closed in our area there. We're only down $35, so it's not the end of the world just yet. But I would probably keep this exact trade on. I probably wouldn't do anything different. Leave my stop where it's at. Leave my profit target where it's at. See if we could withhold this downward pressure. Maybe it's temporary, maybe it's not. Who knows? But if we get stepped out, we get stepped out. That's my thinking at the end here, guys. But again, I appreciate everybody coming today. If I don't see you at the Future Trading 101 site, or even if I do see you at the Future Trading 101 event, have a great weekend. Thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Easy on the day trade margins. Appreciate everyone's feedback. Tell your friends. Let's get some more folks in here. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube if you think it was merited a thumbs up. Again, thanks for your participation. It's been awesome. And I do want to remind everybody, be safe out there and take care of each other. See you soon.